pretty intense. Like there's in a part where you're driving a car and you have to turn the controller like this, and like at one point I'm like fuck, and I threw my controller across the room.
Blockhead Printing. For all your custom nerdy shirt printing, cons, parties, or gaming clubs, this is a full-service, badass screen printing company. Check out blockheadprinting.com. In news of the week, we got Ava DuVernay to DC. Geralt is going to be in Soul Calibur 6, a solo Batman movie rumored to start next year, Shadow of the Tomb Raider announcement, and an Infinity War trailer and pre-sales. Check it out.
Welcome, everybody. Comically Gaming, episode 96. How's everybody doing?
Good.
It's good.
Yeah.
Another
Rocking
nice
it.
week here in Colorado. We got some awesome weather going on. It feels like spring. Thursday's going to be in the 70s.
Dude.
And
We
I'm
got
gonna
some,
go
too.
snowboarding the Monday following that. So
I haven't worn a
great
coat
time of
all
year.
weekend.
Yeah.
We finally dropped from 80 to normal temps.
Right.
We were at 80 for a while, and then now we're getting 65.
We hit 50. And it was no coats, shorts, and t-shirts.
Yeah, I remember those days. Those days are long gone. That 50 and I'm freezing again. So, Jeff, why don't you kick off?
You're in Colorado, it's not that warm. 50.
I did not do it. This week was a blur. I really didn't do anything.
Homework.
I
homework.
did. I know. I was catching up from being gone for a week, and then spring break, and then it sucked. And about the only thing I did is I jumped the gun, bought the digital
Why does spring
copy.
break suck?
Oh, I was in training the entire week.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So it's not like I sit in my underwear and play video games all day. And no, I did buy the digital release for Last Jedi.
Oh, okay.
And I love that movie again. I love that movie. I mean, I could sort of gloss over the shitty Finn storyline in the casino. And just watching, I was catching things I didn't catch before. I was able to stop it and pause the movie in certain parts and just look at the whole scene. And yeah.
I think
Then I watched.
now that we're getting a little further away from The Last Jedi, my only real complaint, like you, even the casino doesn't bug me that much. My only real complaint is that they kind of dropped the Finn and Rey love story. Like, I feel like they totally went away from it. Like, at the end, they're not even acting.
Spoiler alert.
They
I guess you're right about that.
I guess they sort of had to.
And you haven't seen The Last Jedi, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but if you rewatch it, Rey and Finn don't ever get back together until the very end.
I know, but they're not, like, even running up and hugging each other. They're
They
just
didn't
like...
have time. They really didn't have time.
They could have made time.
And what was interesting is I watched some deleted scenes. I watched all the deleted scenes.
Ooh, yeah.
And some of them, I'm like, well, thank God they cut that one down. Because one of the scenes was like 5 minutes long.
Where was it?
And it was part of the escape from the casino on those weird Atreyu or Falcor looking things.
All right, don't spoil it any more than that. I want to watch it.
Yeah, so I like some of the deleted scenes. I'm like, oh, well, I guess they could have kept that in, but it would have changed the course of the story. There were some funny ones that they cut out, but
Bloopers?
no bloopers. I haven't seen those yet. I haven't watched it with commentary yet, but I want to watch the movie with the commentary from the director to find out some of his other things that he talked about. What did I play? I played Call of Duty Zombies with Corey just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
And
I had to cut out. Like, I just wanted to make sure I could share everything. But
we were so lost.
We were lost, yeah. There's like objectives you have to do. And
Yeah.
I know. I'm
didn't
excited
know.
to play it. I'm excited to play it.
It'll be fun. If you can get on there, if we can get Adam on there too, it seems like it'll be a lot of fun.
If we can get 4 people on there, I think it'd be better. Now that I don't know, but it was It was definitely thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
And
Literally when you blew me up in that pit.
dude, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I sit there and I was like, oh, I'll just hit the button really quick, and all of a sudden Corey just flies out of the hole. I'm like, oh, hey, Corey, how's it going?
Awesome.
That flamethrower wasn't as effective as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It took a long time to kill those bastards, but I don't know. That is really all I was reading. I read a book in 9 hours that I had to read for school, and it was about this submarine officer's account of the San Francisco collision. I loved it. That's why I read it. Well, I wrote it on pretty much straight through.
Cool.
It's
I
only
wish I could
for
read that fast, man. I'm so slow. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I read
I'm the
comic
same.
books that fast. I can read through a comic book in probably like 15 minutes.
Well, comics are different for me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, comics about 15 minutes for me.
I wanted to play, but I was just so behind on everything that it was just
Gotcha. It
was
happens.
done.
Yep, it
Yeah.
happens. So
Yeah.
my week this week, a couple TV shows. Watched The Walking Dead. It was another boring one. They reverted back to boring. And then I watched Attack on Titan, the 5th episode today.
Oh, season 1?
Yes.
Did it get crazy yet?
Something crazy happened.
Yeah.
For it to be five episodes in, I was really shocked at what happened in that episode. So
Yeah.
anybody who watches Attack on Titan knows what I'm talking about.
Good.
But yeah, it was good, definitely, really good.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest, I didn't play many games because I'm just balls deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Balls deep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start my campaign here in a couple weeks, and so I don't have time for anything but D&D. I'm in there, I'm taking notes, I got everything set up, and
Appendix C.
yeah, Appendix C blew my mind.
It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah, everybody, check out Appendix C. We'll say
Yeah.
that.
It's awesome, man.
But yeah, just, I'll say it on Comically Gaming. I know we talk about it a lot. If you have never had a chance to play D&D and kind of thought you might like it, you definitely will like it. And even if you don't have a group of people to play with, just go get the Player's Handbook and read through it.
Read it.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool to learn the rules of D&D and just whatever, just kind of understand how it all works and everything. I'm
Or you just read it from front
Until
to
you
back?
until you
so-
make a character has -1 initiative.
-1. That's funny. Well, I didn't read each class and race. Like, I'm gonna wait. I'll read your guys once we get going. But I didn't read every single one, and I didn't read every single spell. You know what I mean?
Oh,
No,
I
That's
glossed
way
over
too
that.
much. That's way
Yeah,
too much.
But everything else I read in it front to back.
You learn.
That's
learn
up to the
every-
spellcasters to know what their spells do.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And you learn something new every time you pick it up. Like, I just learned that, I don't know if I knew this before, but spellcasters, if they're 5 feet within an enemy, have disadvantage at their spell. If it's a missile spell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
same
if you
thing,
read the
close
same
entire,
thing
anyways.
with archers.
Yeah.
if you
Any
read the
ranged
entire
attack is
player
like that.
handbook, what does page 24 tell you?
What's that?
Yep.
I said if you read the
Memorized.
if you read the whole PHB, what does page 24 tell you?
I don't have it devoted to memory. It's a big book.
Well, look it up really quick. Just look it up.
What's it say, Jeff?
Well, let watch Nate's reaction.
Yeah.
What?
Read the
What's
little
in-
section that says "Darkness is a Drow." Read that section.
See?
Understand what that does to the dungeon master.
It's the PHB.
Let them know. Let them know.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just-
if everybody doesn't know, I'm not letting Jeff be a Drow, and he's very cranky about it. It's my first ever game, and I just feel like Drow are like this. If you don't play D&D, they're this evil race that every other race hates. So anytime you go into town, anybody that they have to
Drow
deal
elves.
with hates them, is scared of them
but-
or whatever. Like, it does not make my life easier, and I need my life as easy as possible for this first game.
Well, you say that, but now you face possibly 2 tieflings in the party.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
that's
saw that.
that's like a half step I can handle.
Okay.
Drow is just
Yeah.
too hardcore. So yeah, that was my week. Just hunkering down. I got some stuff I'm going to share with you guys, but yeah, it's great.
Sweet.
Nice.
Corey?
Yeah.
Me?
Sorry.
Let's see, my week. I beat 3 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You made up.
I had to make up for last week. Like 3.5. So I finished South Park. Yeah, that was the beginning of this week. I finished South Park. That was alright. I think I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the story get cool, or
I mean, it's alright.
it's just funny
It's
South
fun.
Park stuff? But
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, like, maybe if you're like a really big South Park fan, like if you're not a really big South Park fan, I feel like it's just, it's 15 to 20 hours of like kind of funny South Park. And like, I mean, the combat's all right, but it's not great. And it's just, I don't know, the story wasn't, they don't really make many comedy games. So like, I was trying to think of like another comedy game that I've played, and I don't really have anything to compare it to. But
you play that one with Jack Black, Brutal Legend.
no, I never played it.
That's worth playing, I think. If you see that now for $5 or something, grab that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about it. Like, the story was a kind of funny South Park story, and it was just seemed too long to me. Maybe like, the thing is, it's a single player story game, so for $60 it should be 15 to 20 hours. There's not multiplayer or anything,
right.
So I hate to say it's too long, because that's about how long it should be. You don't want to pay $60 for a 5-hour game, but I could have done 5 hours would have been about right for me.
Yeah,
so,
how about $20 for a 5-hour game and put out different ones, right?
Right. Yeah, that I would have preferred that for sure. But and then so I pre-ordered Detroit, and that came with free copy of the Heavy Rain. So I beat that. And I actually really liked that. The story's pretty cool. It's kind of like a mystery that you're solved from the viewpoints of like 4 different people, and it's all.
What was you hated it at first? What was wrong before you got into it? There's something about the controls
I like
or something.
first.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
So the story was really cool. You play viewpoints from like 4 different people. They're all kind of unique characters, and it's all about like decision making and like finding clues to like throughout the mystery and stuff, and kind of uncovering what's going on. You're trying to find this like serial killer is what the game's about, from like 4 different people's perspectives. But it was really cool. The characters are cool. It's all
I thought it was good.
Yeah, what do you call it when in the Telltale games? What do they call those events where you press buttons?
QuickTime events.
It's all QuickTime events for the action, but they're pretty decent QuickTime events. Like, where it's pretty intense. Like, there's in a part where you're driving a car and you have to turn the controller like this, and like at one point I'm like fuck, and then I threw my controller across the room. Like, so they're pretty decent for QuickTime events. I played like the Batman ones. Batman ones were all right, but some of the Telltale games, they just seem really stupid, and
Yeah.
for what they are, they were done well. So I would have given it an 8, but I give it a 7 because of the fucking controls and camera angles. It's just really, you have to use 2 buttons to walk. It makes no fucking sense. You have to you use the left stick. You use the left stick to choose your direction to walk, and you hold down R2 to move forward. Like,
Yeah,
like you're
that's-
driving a tank or something.
That's the
It's
worst
so-
thing ever.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It makes no sense. And there's absolutely, I can't think of a single reason why you would have to do that. Because there's no reason you couldn't just use the left stick. I can't think of a valid reason why they would do that. It makes no sense. And then the camera angles, it's always one camera angle, and you could press L1 to change the camera angle, and then it'll give you like a camera angle from a different aspect of the room, but it totally messes with you. Like, it doesn't just follow your character around, it gives you like a whole different perspective, and then you have to hold the stick in the other direction because it's just, the controls are just
Does
so
it ever
fucking
make
long.
it so that you walk back and forth between
Yeah,
the doorway
sometimes
because
it
of that?
does.
Those
yeah.
are the worst.
Yeah.
Going to the right and then the camera angle changes, and if you keep holding right, the dude turns around and walks back
Yeah.
to the screen.
God.
And to like certain things, like to open drawers or something, you have to like push the stick up and then down and around and stuff. Like they try and make it feel like you're interacting by moving the stick in a certain direction, and you don't feel like you're interacting with it. It just feels kind of stupid. So that's what brought it down to 7. I would have given it an 8 if it wasn't for that, but just the controls were so goofy. But it, at first I said, it didn't get me hyped for Detroit, but I'm hoping they fix all that, and if that's a good or a better story and they fix all that shit, it'll be a great game. So hopefully they do. And then I beat Call of Duty World War II.
Oh,
So
Nice.
that I gave it an 8. I was thinking 9 at first, like when I was going off on it on
9,
this
huh?
with you guys. Like, it was so great up into World War II spoilers. There's like, they go to Paris in World War II. And
That's awesome.
up into that point, and in Paris was so awesome, and and the few missions before that were really great.
why?
and,
Why was it? Was it just that Paris is great, or what? Why? Was
Yeah,
it-
Paris
The
was
whole
just
mission
really
was
cool,
great,
and
yeah.
the mission was pretty unique for the game. You play it from like not from your normal character's perspective, and it just it's kind of its own little story within the larger story of the game, and it was a really cool one. And I was like, wow, these are great characters, and this is a cool mission. I'm playing from someone else's perspective, and Paris the graphics are amazing. Like, it looked really awesome, and it's Call of Duty, so the gunplay is tight, its gameplay is good. Like, it was really, really cool. But then I was like, this is really, really good. And then after that, it just kind of went to standard war game for like the final 2/3 of the game, or half of the game, and so I brought it back down to 8. It was a really good game, good story, and
it was all right.
yeah, but it just wasn't amazing, but it was really good. And then I started playing Splatoon 2, so that's what I'm halfway through now, and that's really awesome.
Yeah, for that Paris mission, they went really deep into history, and it was a side note in history, but it was really important for the war effort. It was really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, historically, it's great. That's why I said I played Battle of the Bulge back there on Christmas Day, because that's the day that happened. So it was kind of fitting to play it.
All right.
Jeff, I know you're big into Assassin's Creed. Did you play the Unity, the Paris one?
Yes, I did.
Like, I beat that game. I
didn't
that
like
one.
the map at first. I didn't like the attitude of the character for some reason.
Yeah, the character wasn't the greatest, but I'm a huge
So
fan of Paris, and Paris was so awesome in that game.
I didn't play that one very much. I liked the Syndicate one more.
Yeah.
Because I had the brother and sister, and I liked playing the chick. I just liked her attitude through the whole thing, and it got a little weird. But then I had a hard time with Assassin's Creed Origins. It's just, I don't know. It never has the same feel for me as the other ones do.
I loved it.
What are you doing, Dirk?
Origins.
Anyways, Splatoon 2 is great. I didn't play Splatoon 1, but really liking Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
The multiplayer is sweet. The single player missions are awesome. The different customizations are sweet. I mean, like you were saying, when you told me about Splatoon, you said like it's a decent shooter, but if I'm going to play a shooter, I'm going to play a different one. But it's a whole different type of game. Like I wouldn't compare it to. I think it's a great game on its own. I'm not going to play that instead of Destiny or Call of Duty. Like if I want to play those, I'll play those. But Splatoon's its whole own thing, and it's really good for sure.
Yeah, it's another one of those games that, man, if you're on there like Saturday afternoon, you are the king of the world. And
Right.
And if you're on there at 2 a.m, you're getting slaughtered by people who are not from America.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
All you see is Japanese names on there.
that wasn't the case for me. But
Really, that was.
I was playing this afternoon, and I was doing. It's like hit or miss for every match. I'm always pretty close to the top of the leaderboard for my team, but even at last night I was playing at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I was still doing pretty good. But so those are my games. Oh, and Call of Duty Zombies, and then Pokemon Go. Been playing some Pokemon Go. Sure.
Back.
Wow.
Yeah, I stopped playing before they started doing the raids, and like then before the gyms were revamped and stuff. So I've been out there hunting them. Me and my roommate went and did a legendary raid today. We had to get on Discord to find the Ann Arbor Pokemon Go group, and met up with 4 other people in the cemetery in Ipsy to do a legendary raid for Lugia. Couldn't fucking get him though. We couldn't beat it. So it sucked, but it was still fun. It's cool. It's a whole new game. Like when we first started playing, it was there's a million people everywhere playing, so you didn't have to do that. But now there's communities in like Discord and Facebook and YouTube, like Omnisec and stuff. But when you find those communities, the people are still out there playing it. And it's pretty fun. And then I watched Jessica Jones. I kind of haven't watched it the past few nights. I'm getting bored with it. And
How many episodes are you in?
I'm on I think I'm halfway through episode 7 or something.
Gotcha.
I stopped watching it before I just wasn't keeping me interested, and I was getting tired, so I went to sleep, and then I haven't watched it in a few days since then.
Dirk and Jeff, have you watched any?
I'm probably where Corey is right now. It goes up and down for sure.
Yeah.
But
I think a lot of those do.
Really good.
I haven't had time. I feel old right now, so
Yeah.
it's just.
And I think that's it. That was my week.
All right.
Sweet.
Dirk?
Close it out, Dirk.
Let's see. So, in D&D news, I got the Arcane deck of spellbook cards, which I think I tried to explain this to Nate earlier. Really, as a DM, this is just, and even as a player, you can get them. It's really just for you to have in front of you to not have to pile through the books.
Yeah.
Or to look online and keep 12 tabs open. You just have the spell cards in front of you, boom. You know?
Yeah.
This has Wizard, Sorcerer, and Warlock in this deck. So
Nice.
Oh, is that what I was wondering about that?
yeah, that's what Arcane means. That's the
Okay.
Arcane. It's all 3 of those.
Is there another one that has like everything else, like druids and?
There's a bunch of different ones. Yeah, Druid has their own deck.
Yeah.
Clerics have their own deck.
Ranger, Cleric. Yeah,
I think-
and then Xanathar has its own deck too. For the
I think it'd be harder to look through the cards than
No,
to just go to a page.
no,
no,
because you
because
can lay them in front of you.
well, and
There's
with
a lot
the
of spells,
cards,
though.
but with the cards, all you do is you have your prepared spells.
Right,
That's all you
prepared
do.
spells. Yeah.
Whatever your prepared spells are, so you only have
Oh, right.
No,
Yeah, I
4,
get you.
7,
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Plus
If
cantrips.
you were picking from everything, yeah, that would be.
I thought you were saying, like,
Same.
as a DM, when I say I'm using a spell, you're going to, like, look through all your cards for the spell I'm using. But for a caster to have just your spells laid out, that would be cool.
Absolutely. Because it's only, I mean, even with everybody's spells together, it's still not a whole bunch to have.
Dirk, I just got to point out on Comically Gaming, like I was griping about in Discord, they need awesome art. Why don't they have awesome art?
I totally agree.
They would be collectible then. I would love looking at the picture of the spell.
That's the thing,
Off, like,
it can be illustrative and show what the spell looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, they could.
Miss.
They could, but some of the spells have pretty lengthy descriptions, like spiritual weapon.
And put the picture on the back. Put the picture on the back.
Put it on the back.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But
even if you do it like a very reduced, sort of simplistic art that just demonstrates it, like a cave drawing or whatever, just showing the spell.
What do the back of your cards look like? Because mine have a cleric symbol on them.
I mean, it's hard to see right here. I haven't opened it yet, but it's just a symbol. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 symbols. It doesn't really show anything for the most part. Almost like a playing card.
Yeah, see, the druid has a sickle, and I have a mace.
Yeah. This is a fireball.
Oh, that's mage spells then.
Yeah.
Or not mage. Yeah, mage.
Yeah, all the arcane stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't remember if I mentioned this last week, but I know I talked about WebDM being an awesome spot for people that want to DM and just D&D knowledge in general. But also, Taking 20 is another awesome YouTube channel. Very clear directions and ideas on on everything. DMing, playing, everything. So check that out. In terms of games for the week, I played some more Shadow of War. I'm still trying to beat Celeste. But the new one that we got for the house is The Sims 4.
Oh, God.
Which
I played The Sims one time, like, I don't know which one it was, but it was, 15 years ago, where I was like, okay, I'm going to play it, and I sat down and played it for 3 months, and then...
That was the original Sims. Because I was playing the original Sims like 15 years ago, and yeah.
I get it. I get why people like it. I think it's
a lot of Simmer YouTubers. You see so many of them.
I'm not going to get too in depth on it because I mean it's not something that I would have normally have gotten, but the options in that game are insane. I mean, there's just so much to pick from and do that it's scary. You could probably just live your life in there, and never leave, which is weird. But, and then just comics. Watch Jessica Jones. I think it's up and down. I mean, obviously it's got some slow moments and some weird scenes, but it's also got some really great moments, so it goes back and forth. But comic books, I read Infinity Countdown 1, Black Bolt 11, and then this was the highlight of the week for me. I don't know if you can see it here.
Criminal Coward?
Yeah. Criminal. So this is the guy that does Kill or Be Killed. He actually teams up with this artist on like 4 other books, I think. And it's all like pulp crime comic books. So if you're into like crime novels or crime, this is like perfect stuff. BKV actually gave it high remarks on the back, nice. So it's sweet.
Awesome. Who's the publisher?
Image, I think. Yeah.
It is Image?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think that's it. Yeah, that's my week.
All right.
Nice.
News of the week. Yeah. News of the week. Number 5. It's all weird here.
It's all weird.
Ava DuVernay to direct New Gods movie for DC.
So, anybody have knowledge about New Gods?
I'm reading Mr. Miracle right now.
Miracle,
that's the only knowledge I have of it. I'm not familiar with it otherwise.
Not even basic. Who I don't even know who the heck they are.
No, I mean I know Darkseid. I think is the main villain.
So it's like a team of supervillains?
No, they're not villains.
No, Darkseid's their main adversary, but I don't remember the gods' names. I know Mr. Miracle. That's it. I mean, if anybody out there wants to crush us for not knowing that,
Weird that they're doing a movie. Is it like a live action? Or is it like a
yeah, I think it
animated
is.
movie?
It's weird
do a
that
lot
they're
of
giving it
animated
to her
movies.
too,
Yeah.
because she just did Wrinkle in Time, and it's not doing well, is it?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't follow the book, and I don't remember the book on Wrinkle in Time, because I was in like 4th grade when I read that book.
I read the book recently, and watching the trailers, it looks like it follows the book, but it looks
Is
like
it?
it's terrible also.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that's what you say about Ready Player One, too. Not
I do.
believe it.
No, Ready Player One does not look like it follows the book.
Words.
It doesn't, but it's got an 80 score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
What is it?
Ready
He likes
Player One.
those critic scores. So hey,
Rotten Tomatoes is always way high. Look on Metacritic.
I don't know how Rotten Tomatoes even work.
Yeah.
Number 4.
It's always super good.
Geralt coming to Soul Calibur 6 from The Witcher.
Okay, so give us our
Caliber
weekly
6.
chance to talk about The Witcher, and
Yeah.
here it is. Would this make... Like, I feel like, okay, I wouldn't buy Soul Calibur before, and now I want to buy Soul Calibur.
Yeah, it was. I didn't
It's
even
to
give a
play
shit
it for
about it.
sure.
Now I'm getting it.
Right.
I haven't played Soul Calibur in ages.
You know-
I mean,
I don't think I've ever
Imagine-
played Soul Calibur.
I've played it before. It's
Yeah.
decent. Imagine, though, a whole fighting game with The Witcher 3 characters.
oh,
Yeah.
Have 'em-
That
have
would be
every
the
character
shit.
in there. Imagine how awesome that would be.
sick.
Yeah.
God,
I know. That's why I was
How do you do
thinking.
it?
Because I was like, man, I wish they had like Triss or Yen so you could do like sorcery spells, or Ciri would be awesome too. But then, yeah, I was thinking about that when I heard this news.
Yeah, and
all
even
the-
his crew of dudes, and then just you could have a group of baddies as well. Like, it'd be
Yeah.
great.
Baddies.
Yeah, be sweet. Number 3. Solo Batman movie rumored to film next year.
Interesting.
Matt Reeves is the director.
Is
Did-
he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Who posted this one?
I did. Not
Yeah. What's
no
the-
Affleck though.
No, Matt
Affleck.
Reeves is like the screenplay writer.
Ah. So I guess Affleck's not going to be in it, huh?
Thank God.
Yeah.
But they didn't say
Well-
who is.
They don't
No.
know.
No.
Right.
They don't know.
Well, they
I think
better
he's
figure it
done.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2. Shadow of the Tomb Raider officially
Dude,
announced. The
I
3rd in the series of the new Tomb Raider games.
cannot wait.
Yeah.
Definitely
because-
pumped.
The first 2 were amazing,
Right.
and if they hold true,
Well, this... Yeah, I could be wrong, but this is no longer the same developer as the first 2. They're
Oh.
making the Avengers game right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
it's-
that's not bad.
no, it is the same. It's Square Enix.
No,
Well,
that's
they're
not
the
developers.
publisher.
Yeah, the
Oh.
developers. The first 2 games was Crystal Dynamics,
Oh yeah, I see that.
and I don't think they
Eidos.
are.
Montreal.
Who
Eidos
is it?
Montreal. Yeah, Eidos
Yeah.
Montreal. They made these decent games too, but it's
They
not.
do.
This could be different.
Yeah, it may not have
Yeah.
the same feel and look
Right.
as the original. Yeah.
I hope it's as good as the first 2 because.
Well,
they're
time will
great.
tell. We got until September. So I think it's interesting they're doing it in September, which is in between like the end of summer releases that they always do in August, and then right before the November flood.
It's because everybody's afraid of November because
Call of Duty.
no, it's Red Dead.
Oh,
Everybody's getting out of Red Dead's way. They are.
That's
for real.
awesome.
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
the streets.
That makes sense.
They're the streets.
All right. Number
Oh,
1. New Infinity War trailer.
Watch it.
All right, yeah. Corey hasn't
Pause.
seen it yet, so we're gonna go live to watching it. Well,
wow.
what do you think,
Wow.
Corey? Fresh
That was
off
cool.
of the first
The
view?
trailer train.
That gave me chills.
I gotta say, like,
looks
I thought
awesome.
that I was skeptical, I was concerned, and then this trailer was like, okay, bring it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that.
You know what
Right,
it is?
sure. I wasn't skeptical of that.
There's people, I mean, there's blowback about Thanos being CGI and looking the way he does and whatever. But that trailer, I think, addresses that.
Right?
It makes it look like he's a convincing villain. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, well.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
Yeah, definitely. So a few things now. I've watched it a few times now. That post after it says Avengers and the Spider-Man flying through all the rubble in space there, so awesome.
Yeah.
And the watching it a couple times, there's, as far as I can tell, 2 people missing. Is Hawkeye and Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't see either of them in it, so I don't know what the story is with that. You know, it seems like that trailer went out of its way to show you everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
They're dead.
like not looking good for Thor or Hulk or Thor or
Cap.
Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Rocket
Yeah.
looks worried about something,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Well, I like. What was it? Star-Lord's like, yeah, it's a good plan, but I don't like it. It's stupid.
Plant sucks.
Plan sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
So-
Yeah, and there's not another Cat movie or Thor movie announced, is there?
Well,
I mean,
everything after
The ending.
the next Spider-Man movie is untitled, just called Project,
yeah.
Yeah.
all the way out. So they're
Yep.
hiding who's left.
You
after
think they're
the
going to
next
reveal it?
Avengers one.
Yeah.
No,
You think?
they're holding it until the next Avengers to see who.
Right.
You know, probably
Part two.
everybody knew, right?
But you know, like they put out their 25-year plan or whatever, or their big long plan where they announce like 5 movies, 6 movies all at once. Maybe they do something like that after the next one, or
Well, they've already done that, but now it all says, instead of saying the names, it says Untitled Project, right? So when they come out and do what you're saying, we'll see. You know,
Yeah.
at some point they will, but maybe they're waiting for this movie even to be over to see some of the people who die or whatever. We'll see.
you know what I'm pumped is like, where do they go with new people being brought into the MCU now? You know, there's so many characters to choose from.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just excited about that aspect of it. So,
Yep.
Black Bolt.
Yeah. Badass. How's Cap so strong holding back that gauntlet?
Super soldier serum, dude.
That's all you need?
Come on.
One question: the
Where's
street
the
level
Infinity
characters
Gauntlet?
aren't going to be in it, right?
What's that?
The street level characters aren't going to be in it.
They've never
Right.
said that they will.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They don't flat out deny it, but they never say that they will.
The Netflix characters.
people.
Yeah,
Oh,
Defenders.
yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. So, and then Dirk, you posted something about the, what is it?
Oh,
Pre-sales or something?
Yeah, so they're just predicting it to be a really, really crazy. I mean, we all knew this, you know, but it's already setting records just in pre-sales.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Do you guys have tickets?
Yes.
I don't have them yet, but
I have it for Friday at 3:30 by myself. I'm
I
just
have
gonna
it-
go see them as well.
I got it Saturday night because of my work schedule. That's when I go with the kids after work. It'd be the end
Probably
of
have
my
to
week.
do it Thursday.
So
Maybe Thursday.
I got the hot seats though. I know it's row E, 12 through 16. That's like the perfect spot for my family to sit if I can get in there early enough. So I made it.
nice.
Star Wars, I had to sit off to the side.
Oh
I
yeah.
was
Yeah.
not pleased.
That's
yeah.
not good.
Yeah.
I'm sitting up in the back row center.
Back row.
Back
I don't
row,
like being
yeah.
far back like that.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
To me, it makes the
It's-
screen too teeny.
It's by the time I can get in there with the reserve seating, it's either back row or it's way up and like this.
Yeah,
and
you
you're
don't want
just like
that either. Yeah.
it's and
Yeah.
sitting on the sides, it sucks because it's weird perspective. I don't know.
Right.
And the last to follow that up, Stephen Hawking died this past week.
Yeah.
Rip.
It's interesting
Alright.
for sure. And on the Eve note, all the players in Eve have been going around lighting these Sino beacons
I saw that.
throughout the entire vast universe as a tribute to all the physics and science that he's contributed with theories for space
Science.
All right, everybody, welcome. We finally are having the conversation I've wanted to have for a long time. None of the rest of our crew is into pinball the way that I am, and so I grabbed my two best friends that have pinball machines inside their houses to talk pinball with me. So it's Nate and Scotty. How you guys doing?
Howdy. Good. How are you?
Doing well. So I guess I just wanted to have a short talk about pinball because I love pinball so much, and I think it's totally underrated, and just want to share my love of pinball with everybody. I was thinking we could just start with stories of what happened in our lives that made us enjoy pinball to the point that we do. I know Scotty and me are going to be pretty similar because we came up from the same place, I think, when love of pinball was happening. But Scotty, I mean, maybe you talk casino coins or pinball Pete's, or what do you think? What's your history with pinball?
So I was really fortunate. My uncle had a machine in his house, so anytime we would go to visit, starting at like age 4 or 5, I would get to go and play pinball, and that kept me out of the adult's hair and whatnot. It was a 1970s electromechanical machine from a little-known company called Chicago Coins. It was at the Chicago Coins Casino. And then later in life, my same uncle Jerry, he actually gave it, or what turned out to be lent it, to myself. And Nate, you and I went and picked it up in the Catalina 400 and drove it back to your apartment in college town.
Yeah, I won. I got to have it in my apartment for a few months.
Yeah. And it never quite worked all the way, but it worked well enough. All the stuff worked on it for the most part, and so we got to play it quite a bit then. And then it went into storage, and my cousin came and took it, and he let it go into terrible disrepair. But throughout that period, Nate, you and I have been going to Pinball Pete's, and I think that was kind of like a coming of age, early identity for us, just getting out of our house and going, from our parents' house to somewhere that we could hang out and play some pinball, play some video games. And, yeah, totally. Yeah. Play pool, eat junk food,
Right.
And and the first machine I played out at Pinball Pete's that I really kind of gelled with was the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And then shortly after that, the Attack from Mars came out. So that was kind of the golden age of the 90s, the last wave of classic pinball, what people consider, vintage machines.
Yeah, for me, like the Pinball Pete's, what I always remember is that there wasn't a lot in there that you could play for a quarter. So Galaga was one of the things, and Taxi was in the back of the small Pete's.
Yeah.
Right? And that was a quarter. And so, when you ran out of your 50 cents and had one more quarter before you walked up the door, I was always dropping that one in Taxi. And that got me to kind of get my skills up and whatnot. And Nate, how about you? How long you been doing this craft?
Well, I just, for whatever reason, I have associations of pinball was always when my dad was on a business trip and we have to go to the airport and pick him up. For whatever reason, the arcade at the airport always had the best pinball games, so
nice.
I'd play those.
Right.
But when I went to college and the internet came about, I started reading out on that, and Usenet was just starting to be a thing, and there was Rec Games Pinball. Just people talking about pinball and rules. I mean, who knew that there's all these rules and crap that you needed to follow? Yeah. And all of a sudden I started to learn about these new games, or like how to play them. I'm like, and so that was right in the early 90s. So Adam's Family was starting to be big, and up in the Twin Cities we got a lot of the beta pinball games. I didn't even know that was a thing until I'm on the internet. Like, oh hey, Twilight Zone just came out, and it's out at this arcade. So I'd make a trip, drive all the way down to the cities to go see that, and the rules weren't quite set yet, so everything's a little different than it was.
Sure.
But
I don't know, Nate, was arcades when you were growing up around there, like me and Scotty had like the Ann Arbor had 4 Pinball Peeps, and they were all awesome. They were packed, and not even all of them had pinball, but it was like you could literally walk less than 10 blocks and make a circle of 4 different awesome arcades.
No.
And even when we were younger, there was like a big one. Did you have stuff like that going on or no?
So yeah, I grew up in Rapid City, South Dakota, and there was an Aladdin's Castle out at the mall,
Sure.
which is not exactly a pinball haven.
Sure.
And then a couple pizza joints or something like that, but nothing to that degree.
Gotcha. We were just lucky. We were lucky for a lot of things, I think, growing up.
So
totally.
But
I'd met Tim from Pinball Pete's once, and just the stories he tells are just amazing.
Yeah,
Just
right.
fantastic. Yeah, I'm super jealous of you guys.
Yeah, that's cool. So the one thing that I kind of wanted to point out to, again, for anybody who might be watching who, plays a game of pinball when they're at the bowling alley one time, loses the ball 3 times, and then walks away from it and doesn't really kind of get it, or even the totally casual player, like a lot of the machines, once you got out of like the early days of pinball, the stuff that we were playing in the 90s that's still out there now today, it's what I really love about it is that it's story based, right? Like you're going, whatever the case might be, Black Lagoon, you're watching a movie and all the things that are going on while you're watching the movie and whatnot, in the movie and in the parking lot, right? And then,
Right.
And I just think of like Medieval Madness in Twilight Zone, and for me it was Attack from Mars was the one that was at my local arcade and whatnot, where you could play through a story as you're playing pinball and whatnot. Like I've had somebody standing next to me, Scotty, in your back room outside of I think it is Black Lagoon, and and I was explaining that, like, she was like, so what? She goes, I'm no good at it and stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm not good at it either. I'm not really playing for high scores. I just have fun trying to hit like the skill shots and going through the story. And she's like, what story? Like, it just didn't even cross her mind that there was a story involved. It's crazy.
But if there's anything beyond just trying not to let the ball go down the middle, like
Right.
you're actually trying. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, there's a big attraction for that. Once you get into that and you start getting deep into the rule sets of the games and the stories and how they play through, and then there's a big difference between the different games. So you'd go through a kick where you'd just play Attack from Mars, or you'd just play Arabian Nights, you'd just play Creature from the Black Lagoon, at least I would. And then you'd sit there and work on those shots to where you knew everything, every shot. I mean, Creature of the Black Lagoon has one of the more complicated multi-balls. It's only a 2-ball multi-ball, and you have to do 4 different things to make it happen. So it almost never happens accidentally. I mean, you really got to kind of work through the rule set to do it. But once you get it, and those shots become second nature, you can really get in the zone. And that's my happy place, is where you stop thinking about the individual shot or the individual keeping it from going down the center or whatever. It just all starts flowing. And all of a sudden, an hour and a half has gone by,
Like, yeah, you're thinking like 3 steps ahead on how you're going to do it. Yeah, because you just kind of feel it or whatever. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and you mentioned, the person that 3 balls go down the middle and they never play again. I think that really what helped launch this resurgence in pinball is after, when was it, the 90s that it went from 25 cents to 50 cents for most games?
Yeah, right.
But if you put $2 in it, you got 5 credits. So if you put $2 in the machine, you didn't get too bummed out if one game went, right down the center. You usually catch a group second or third time through the game. And by 5, you definitely have, one good run, you'd think, at least hopefully through the game.
Right.
So that's what I would do. I'd always go in, pick a machine, put in $2, get 5 credits, and see if you could turn it into 10 credits,
Sure.
Everything you could with it. But yeah, as a kid, when we were growing up, we played a lot of those games, and that was a ton of fun. And then I kind of got back into it when I finally we got the house that we're in currently about 5 years ago, and I finally had enough space that I could maybe get a machine and have room for it. So I started trolling Craigslist, and I found a $200 Williams machine, an electromechanical from the 70s, and got it as well close to running as I could, and then called in a pro to help me really dial it in the rest of the way. And from there, I just was playing hours, because once you've got free access to a machine, I can see, Nate, you've got your Twilight Zone there behind you. Yeah. It's a different level of playing once you just go over and hit the button, rather than having to go and spend money and whatnot. But you're still invested. But
right.
Yeah, when you get the time to go and do that. So, I mean, from there, I just started collecting. I had that was a Williams Fun Fest. I picked up a High Speed. I got the Taxi machine, Nate, that you played over at my house. And then I bought this Addams Family over here behind you guys. That is probably still my favorite machine here. But then at some point sold off the other 3 machines and bought Creature from the Black Lagoon. So I've got a couple what I consider top-notch machines. I was fortunate to have a Twilight Zone in my house on loan for a little while from actually Mark, who used to work for Pinball Pete's. He was an operator mechanic over there, and he needed a place to keep it for a while, so I was lucky enough to have that in my house for about 2 years. So,
yeah, totally.
And that was the machine that Josie first clicked with, and Josie's my now 6.5-year-old. And at about 4 years old, she was starting to actually try to make shots, not just whack at the buttons or hit them both at the same time, but actually playing the game and playing through it. So it's cool to see, having gone through it myself, learning it about that age, now my kids are starting to get it. So it's, yeah, and I mean, pinball was kind of going the way of the dinosaur until about 5 years ago. It's cool to see that we're in a resurgence where in Denver, there's a ton of places you can go to.
Yeah, Stern's got it kicking right now. What Nate, how did you get your table? Is there Stern?
That was just an eBay purchase. It was a late night, caffeine fueled. Oh, look, I can get this on eBay. And I think I had just got my tax return or something like that, and that was like, it's coming.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So,
talk about rule sets. That's one of the most complicated games and addicting games. And for my money, is Twilight Zone. I mean, you could play that game for months and still learn new things about it.
Yeah.
Well, one of my boys just came up and said, "Oh, I just got lost in the zone for the first time. It was amazing." I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, that's fantastic! Wow, you're really good. I need to start playing again, buddy. You're going to crush me." And then he's like, "Well, it's easier when he set it to 10 balls per game."
Nice.
Little cheat.
Totally.
So, all right.
Yeah, the one thing like that you were saying earlier, Scotty, that I just wanted to bring out to people again who don't play pinball at all, and there are still new good tables coming out. Even everybody who lives around a big city, anyways, can definitely go find pinball if they want to. And kind of like what you were saying, Scotty, is like really you just need to someday have like at least an hour and like $10 nowadays, and then just sit there at one machine until you kind of learn it. The one thing that I was going to say is that I think it's Williams makes a video game that's been on basically everything since the Xbox 360 that has their real tables. So it's got Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars and all that stuff on it. And you can, what I like to use those for, they're actually surprisingly good. When I first heard about video game pinball, it was like, I was mad about it. I was like angry that like it can't possibly be anything like pinball if it's video game.
Right.
But then I played it and it's surprisingly good, and it allows me to learn the rules to tables. So there's like 30 tables on it that I don't have experience with, so I kind of go in and I know a little bit about each one of them. So now if I walk into any place that has one of those sitting there, at least I know where to start, when I walk up to it or whatnot. So it's pretty cool. Go ahead.
I was just saying, it's not going to have a janky flipper either, which is always kind of the nice part.
Perfect.
Yeah, those emulators are fun. I mean, it's cool because, I mean, I would have just playing Creature from the Black Lagoon in the wild, never as a kid that I know that, at the end of the ball, if you hit the flipper quick enough, you get the bonus catch-up. So there's stuff like little quirks in the game that you can learn from those emulators that are fun.
Yeah, totally. So we do got to get moving along here, but the last thing that I just wanted to ask with the two of you guys is what are your favorite table or top 2 or 3?
Well, I mean, I've got to say that Attack from Mars is probably top of the list for me. Arabian Nights, Monster Bash, Medieval Madness, Twilight Zone, Addams Family, and Creature. I mean, those are all, for my money, right in the top 10. I love that they're now remaking. They made a reissue of Medieval Madness, and currently they're reselling and reissuing a new version of Attack from Mars. So if you haven't played that one yet, it's out there.
Nice.
You can play a brand new table. It's perfect. Yeah, that's right.
They're a sponsor of our show. Everybody watches the show knows about you. Nate, what are your favorites?
So I love all the Pat Lawler games. So that's, all the way from Earthshaker and Bonsai Run to Addams Family and Twilight Zone. He just has such a good, just deep rule set. And then the twin sisters of Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars. I mean, you can't debate their greatness. I mean, just the character acting in those is just so fun, over the top.
Absolutely.
They're great to play.
Right. Yeah, I guess I'll agree again. Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars, for my money, they change things, you know. But the one that I would mention is from, I don't know what year it was. I should have done some research, but the Bride of Pinbot. To me, like that's like Pinbot actually even kind of had a story, but the Bride of Pinbot story is so awesome, and the jokes in it between her and Pinbot, like it's what is the one when she goes, "I can talk," and he goes, "Oh no!" Like, yeah, it's so funny when that stuff happened. Like that blew my mind compared to the other things that were out then, like, you know, Black Knight or whatever, where basically it just goes when you hit, you know, a target or whatever.
Yeah,
so
that's
yeah,
probably 1985, 1986. I think was Bride of Pinbot. Yeah, because Taxi was 87,
right.
And that was a little bit further into the ramps and rule sets type stuff. But yeah, that's a classic for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't see Bride of Pinbot till you know, mid '90s. I mean, it came out before then, but yeah, the first time I played Bride of Pinbot, it blew my mind. It was awesome.
Yeah, right, absolutely. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me, guys. I just wanted to nerd out about pinball. We'll try and do this once a year or something. Again, have updates.
Right on.
All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep,
See you, Scotty. See you, Nate.
Yeah, good to see you.
All right, thanks so much again for Nate and Scotty for joining me with that talk about pinball. The rest of you three need to go back and listen to or watch that talk that we just had, because we're going to tell you about why pinball is so awesome and you need to be playing
Hell
it.
yeah.
How to go, where to go for beginners and all this
I'm
stuff.
getting it tonight.
I don't knock pinball.
I love
I didn't say
pinball.
he was knocking it. I'm just saying, if you didn't want to join the conversation, you should have, because pinball's awesome and you need to get more into it and go
Start a
listen to the
league.
show. Yep.
Do a league?
We were supposed to start a league.
We're supposed to start a Rory league, too.
And
huh?
Rory, yeah. I mean, it's almost like, you know, talking about what's your favorite non-Marvel comic book superhero movie, which is the community question of the week.
Community question.
Of the week. So that was last week. We put this out to the community.
Community corner.
And we threw it up in the community corner. Sort of like, you know, it's perfect right after St. Patrick's Day to throw something up there on Facebook and
Green font.
see what happens. Green font. So we asked that question, what is your favorite non-Marvel comic book superhero movie? Zach put Barbed Wire, and I don't know if it was because it's such a great movie or just because Bill Anderson was in it. And then
It's hard to tell with Zach.
and then Colin said Flash Gordon, which I'd forgotten about Flash Gordon.
All right, thank you, everybody. We're going to do that every week. We'll throw that back out there.
Part of the all-new community corner.
Yeah.
That's right. So for everyone watching this or listening to podcasts, our next question is, with rumors of the PS5 being released in 2019, what features and functionalities would you like to see added to the console? And for those folks that are listening on podcast, don't be afraid to hit us up on Twitter with just random messages or send us an email, which would be super sweet.
So what's your
join
guys'
our
answer to the
Facebook.
question? With me, it's all about just like, I hate the folder system. Like, just fix that. It's so stupid.
Subtract.
Scrolling left to right through everything, and it scrolls too fast to where it can't load, and then everything pops and all that. It's just that they need to fix the way that you sort through
Mine
games
doesn't
nowadays.
do that. You need a pro.
A pro doesn't do that. Yeah, mine does. Yeah, and then
They got the new update with the you
Yeah.
can set folders to specific game types. And,
yeah, but I still got a big row of them, and it looks stupid as hell. And it's
You can
not a
do
good way
left
to
and
sort
right.
it.
What, L1, R1? Was that always there? Where you could go all the way to the end of the list?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
They just added that.
yeah, I don't know that either.
Yeah.
I think that
what do you want instead? A list?
Up and down folders system, like every other operating system in the world has. It's where I can click in. And the other thing is, like,
Left and right.
don't put this thing out with a 500 gig hard drive. Don't even sell it like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Charge
2 terabyte.
at
2
least
terabyte.
2 terabyte. I need 5
terabyte.
now. I do.
5.
I need
Yeah.
5, but the base model should be at least 2 terabytes. You can't
I
control that shit.
think they should do is tile it so that all your games are tiled, because I don't like the fact that games that you haven't played in a while get kicked off of the option, and then you have to go find the.
You can turn that
really?
off. Yeah, mine are all there.
Shows how much I fucking play with it. I think a larger hard drive and
Yeah, that's mine.
easier to clean the dust out of the son of a bitch. How about that?
What is it? What's the streaming service they have?
PS View now.
PS Now. Make it worth
That
playing.
shit sucks.
Yeah.
It was a
So
bad idea. They thought it was the future. They bet wrong.
Let us play our
and then what?
digital games, PS4 games, and the PS5.
Every PlayStation.
I think every PlayStation game should be on there, but
Right.
I can't do PlayStation 2 or.
Why not?
But they can. They can do PlayStation 1.
Right.
So
You can do it.
why not?
Right.
And why not?
Because they don't have like digital copies of those games at this point.
They have a
Really?
ton
PlayStation
of
2 they
digital
do.
copies of those. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you have a PS3, you can get an assload of PS1 games on it. There's no reason they can't do it. Microsoft figured it out. They got the original Xbox games. They've got Xbox 360 games. They've got Xbox One games, all playing on the Xbox One. You can figure it out.
Yes.
All right, yeah, I
For
want
sure.
that then.
Yeah.
True.
And
And then
big hard drive.
tired. So and then lastly, on our rating, a couple weeks ago, I think it was last week or was it the week before, we put out our ratings for anything: movies, video games, comic books, and this week's Francis and Corey has a coughing problem because he smokes. So Francisco put down his scores. It looks like for Mad Max Fury Road is a 10.
Which I agree.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And
Same.
Get Out an 8, which I could see 8 or 9.
I
for
agree
Get
with those
Out.
scores. That's the
Yeah.
exact scores I gave those movies. Yep.
I can get
Okay.
Mad Max a 10.
And now we're going to move into
Yep, the theater makes a huge difference.
I've never saw it in the theater, and it's a dead easy 10. Greatest movies of all time.
I
It's
thought the
there
action was
for me.
unparalleled.
Yeah, I agree. I loved it. We're at the part of the show where we give the thanks back to those who gave it to us. You people out there who have YouTube channels that subscribe to us this week, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate that. We're going to link everybody's YouTube channels in the description of our video. So everybody else who's watching this or listening, go over to youtube.com/GCandC and go in the description of this video, click on these people's YouTube channels, subscribe to that stuff. Hit the bell, do all the stuff that all the kids are yelling at you about over YouTube every day.
Dude, on Tuesdays.
Yep. So this week we had Kaiser HTTC, Angel of CR Gaming, Colt the Killer Live, CT Gameplays, Topo Games, Gameplays Bugs, and Windows Saker. So,
Nice.
as always, name of the week. What do you guys got? Coveted award we give out
Colt.
every single week here.
Colt the Killer.
Oh,
That's mine.
I'm going with Gameplays Bugs.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, gameplay Z-Bugs.
Colt the
Colt
Killer.
the Killer.
Live.
Hi.
Live.
Ooh.
Congratulations to both of you, Colt the Killer
Point Flint.
and Gameplays Bugs. Totally win.
Dang, sorry. And also, we have several subscribers out there, not necessarily nerd content, but you should definitely check out cooking shows, family, whatnot.
All kinds of great
All
YouTube
kinds of
content.
people out there. Yeah, absolutely. We have Royal Hydraulics, Hazel and Martin, Errata Kitchen, Mixed Legacy, Little Miss Wiggle, Witwagara, Takeaway Every Day, Genesis Family, Kugbuto. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. How To with Angie, Nanatus Games, and Adri Smash.
Yeah,
Or
check them out. And then Facebook group, We got a few new members this week. I'm back in the mix.
Corey's back.
Yeah, he's
So
back.
now
He's
that
officially
Corey's
come
back,
home.
I took a little
Everyone
hiatus from Facebook, and I'm back
come
now.
home.
Yeah, let me
everyone
see what
post
you're eating for
pictures of
dinner.
Yep.
I can't wait. I
Kids.
love
There's kids too.
seeing people's meals and
Kids.
kids, and I just missed it. But the new members though, and Michelle, Salaman, Hazel, and Hayden.
Yeah, if that's
Thanks.
Solomon.
Welcome.
I've never seen it spelled that way. I don't.
Yeah, me
for,
neither.
Missing that one, but yeah, thanks guys for joining the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
go
Sure.
over to Facebook, punch in Games, Comics, and Culture with no commas. That'll bring you to us. All right.
check it out, because I'm pretty good about adding people, except for Corey, because I didn't see it.
Yeah.
How long did it take for Corey
I
to
think,
get
like,
approved?
27 minutes, I think, is what it was, because...
Oh, that's nothing. That's okay.
I
I thought you were
was-
gonna say 3 days.
No, it's...
I'd have been harassing him if it took that long.
Yeah, no, I think Michelle was the shortest, like 17 minutes, and I added her.
Nice. All right. Well, that's our show, Comically Gaming, episode
Woo.
96. Thank you, fellas, for
Yeah.
joining me again this week. And thanks
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
for watching or listening. We really
Find us
appreciate it.
on Twitter.
Yep. Check out everything we do, and maybe throw us a bone, $1, $3 here or there on patreon.com/GCandC. All the money that goes into our Patreon account definitely goes into making this show better. That's
And for $3, you can make Night Holler.
for $3. No, you cannot make me holler, but you can get a sticker, a decal for your car. So at GCandC.
Did you get yours, Dirk? Oh, should I check my mail?
Dirk, did you get
fine.
yours yet?
I did not get my sticker
Huh.
yet.
Yeah, you should.
Find us
Yeah.
on Twitter at GCandC.
Yeah, and thanks Fred Thomas for opening music and Xee Reiter for our logo. I was talking to Xee tonight at dinner, and she's appreciating. She says she gets so many now likes and subscribes, and she didn't know where it was coming from until she started Googling her name, and then all she sees is our channel popping up in Google.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, thank you, C. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. So Comically Gaming 96, we took a break from spoiler topic this week because of the Pinball Talk, but next week we're going to get back to the Comic Book Club, Gideon Falls #1. In next week's show, so read up on that one.
Good one.
Check it out next week.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Later.
Sure.
Later.
Later.